All right, how's everybody doing? If we go to our preps, Jamie came up with an amazing. You were talking about the song Black Friday, and what was the other Steely Dan song that popped in my head? I was like, oh, and it's called Deacon Blues. They call Alabama the Crimson Tide. They call me Deacon Blues, and Alabama, of course, is on top right now. So you just wonder how much of that was about the end times also. Alabama is probably the best team in college football right now in what my opinion would be the final season of college football. I want a name when I lose. They call Alabama the Crimson Tide. Call me Deacon Blues. Off the Steely Dan song Aja, AJA. Michael might want to check that out. And I think I've got more work from Michael too. And we're going to go to the comments. We're going to go over the video I did the other day. I didn't come to the conclusion that I'm leaning heavily towards the cold full moon in Cancer. Cancer's ruling planet is the moon. Donald Trump is known as the moon child. From their Babylon workings of Aleister Crowley and Jack Parsons and L. Ron Hubbard. Jack Parsons' Babylon working. So, and that was in January to March of 1946. And Aleister Crowley said, Jack's out there along with, I don't know if he named the other person or not. He says, they're creating a moon child. Let me find that for you on Angel White, see if they've got that. All right, found what I was looking for. It's 1 minute 48 seconds. And I'm going to put it in the top comment by Angel White. I'm also going to put another one I ran into. I know this sounds familiar. Donald Trump Moonchild Part 1.
Napoleon, Alexander the Great, Donald Trump.
We're all cut from the same cloth. That one's interesting. That was part of Angel White's Donald Trust, the Antichrist is Reborn, which is no longer on his channel. I've got the entire video downloaded to my YouTube, but I can only mark it private because it's a complete copy. And it would just get struck down if I tried to share it with y'all. I watch it for my own research. I can play it for y'all in bits and pieces. But it's a full moon in Cancer. This cold full moon on December 29th. When he was born, it was a complete moonchild lunar eclipse.
This is the dawn of a new eon. Dawn of a new. This is the dawn.
I watched this. I'd only watched season 1. I didn't pay for season 2. It didn't go. That ended up not going where I wanted it to go. But if y'all remember, I did show y'all how it opened up with the blood red moon, with the beast, and it opened the show began. What was it called? I'm not even telling you what the show was. It's terrible. Well, this is from the show. I bet he tells you in the How Many Miles to Babylon. Babylon working. Oh, it just popped in my head and popped out. Strange Angel was what it was called. Strange Angel. It was a series about Jack Parsons. And it didn't end up going to the Babylon working and his second wife and all that. So I was like, what's the use of watching it? I'm not really going to get much of it. But it's a full moon in Cancer, and Cancer is ruled by the moon. So let's keep going.
Of a new eon. Dawn of a new. This is the dawn of a new eon. especially those of us with the will.
Or Ron or apparently he or Ron or some.
Apparently he or Ron or somebody. So it was, this is Aleister Crowley talking, 666 the Beast. Apparently Ron or somebody, talking about L. Ron Hubbard and Jack Parsons, that's who it was, is producing a moon child.
Somebody is producing a moon.
Producing a moon child. This was what the Babylon, and Babylon is spelled Babalon. That's what they called it. They called it Babylon working. So why did they change the spelling? Well, let's go to the gematria on that. They're creating a moon child. Trump was born on a lunar eclipse 3 months later after the Babylon working. And we have the full moon in Cancer, which is ruled by the moon on December 29th. Now, of course, we got the full moon in Gemini, but don't forget, we talked about that full moon in Cancer on December 29th, goes full here in the Eastern time zone, the Trump time zone, Washington, D.C. or New York City at 10:28 p.m. and the second tower fell at 10:28 a.m. So that was the information I was looking to get to y'all. Glad I was able to find that off Angel White's YouTube site, which I probably learned more about Trump being the Antichrist initially from Angel White than any other YouTube site. Jamie talking about the song Black Friday. I'm going to strike all the red words from my little black book. Steely Dan Black Friday lyrics. How did Jamie pick up on this? Just absolute sheer discernment. Going to strike all the big red words from my little black book. Have y'all ever heard of Red Letter Bible? King James Red Letter Bible. Every time Jesus speaks in the Bible, they put it in red letters. Did Steely Dan come up with this themselves? No. This is written by the Ghost in the Machine. In my humble opinion. So let's go back to what Jamie said. Strike all the words of Jesus, red words, from his little black book, Bible. Oh my goodness. I never really listened to those lyrics. Whoa. Unbelievable. Absolutely. When I read what Jamie wrote, I was flabbergasted myself. There's an image in prep that they couldn't find. Let me go to my cell phone. Well, it should be in the comments, but let me go to my cell phone real quick and find out what they were. I don't know why I didn't transfer. Well, they were from my friend Angel. Not Angel White, but Angel Marie. And she also allowed me to do these. Donald Trump, December 29th, 22. I don't remember what the 22 means. Oh, 2020, probably because you drop the zeros in that world of that type of gematria, because it talks about reverse full reduction and all that. Well, it comes to 119, which is Donald in gematria. Trump, December. Okay, the first one was Donald Trump. The second one says Trump, December 29, 22. It comes to 88. So 119 is Donald, 88 is Trump. That was in Back to the Future. The stopwatch had a 119 on it. And of course, you had to go 88 miles per hour, which was saying Donald Trump right there for all to see. And so, and then she came up with another one. Trump, 12/29/22 comes to 47, which is the compass angle. Somebody showed me the angle of the compass was 47 degrees of the secret society. Then she came down. This is what didn't transfer that she sent me that I found fascinating. Just looked up Trump assassination, December 29th, 2020, it equals the start of the apocalypse and a dark winter. Which that's what we've been saying all along, is that the assassination will kick off martial law in this country, which means the grid will go down, no electricity eventually. And of course, no food, grocery stores, nothing will move. And then you will get into World War III. And Trump assassination 12/29/2020 equals the same as Donald J. Drumpf, and Biden wins. So that was super interesting. Maybe she gave me the link for both of those. And it looks like she did. Start of the apocalypse. Anyway, that was very good. I don't want to slow y'all down or waste your time. I don't want it to turn into another long video. I'll put both links though in the comments, along with the birth of the beast, 1 minute 48 seconds.
Child.
Along with Donald Trump Moonchild Part 1. Is there a Part 2? I don't know. We go to our comments. Who is Dukakis? That was Angel Marie also who asked that. Angel, I think, is only 19, if I'm not mistaken. I tell you, met her off of YouTube. Now she's a Facebook friend, and she really will just sit there and post the truth about God's word nonstop. God doesn't love everybody. Election predestination. She's very anti-Christmas and all the other pagan holidays. So I'm just telling you, your age doesn't matter. Very pleased with what the Lord's done in her life. And of course, thank you, Angel, for sharing that. Barack Hussein Obama's 100% fictitious name. He is certainly not here in his own name. True. Dr. Savage 84, Baron Trump, came up with some gematria type numbers I didn't really follow. Justin Bright, and that doesn't mean anything's wrong. It just means I'm not the brightest bulb in the batch. Justin, he break whatever how do you pronounce your name? I'm not sure. The name of the current pope, and it goes in Adolf Hitler's last name. Just a lot of gematria items there. Thank you. Moon and Sun Eaters, Skull hitting, or didn't really understand that. Holly Ann says 7 hours ago this morning. Good stuff, Trey. I've missed your videos. I've had my own mini blackout since YouTube went down. Something happened to my tower. Kind of gives it a feel of when the real blackout comes. 3 days of darkness we're hearing about. Or it was 10 days of darkness from the QAnon people, wasn't it? Interesting lead up to the full moon in November. Traditionally, the last full moon before the winter solstice has also been named the morning moon. Thought that was interesting. Yeah, morning Donald Trump. Anyway, thanks, Trey. Still listening, but just want to jump in. All right, very good. Always good to hear from you. So when we go to that, and I think we're pretty much done here. When we just go to my last video, it was that party horn. I guess I should scroll up. That was the dead giveaway, right? It was the party horn. From the Day of the Dead. Toward the end, we looked up the party horn. And there is no party horn on the Day of the Dead. We looked up everything else. Are used in vast amount October to de-thaw them when you blow those things out. Party favors that you blow out of the mouth. What do you call those things? Party horn. Are party pipes used for the Day of the Dead? Party pipe didn't really come up, a party horn did. Party horns used for New Year's Eve. They were party pipes used for New Year's Eve. Used for New Year's Eve, but not Day of the Dead. And that's when we started to make. Horns. So you had it. When I'm wrong, it's my flesh. So it really puts me on the hook. So what it took forever to come up with was that party horns and I Pet Goat 2 were used that's New Year's Eve. With the party horn, they don't use those on the Day of the Dead. They do use fireworks, but not party horns. When we researched it, and of course at New Year's Eve they do. And a lot of people said that was New Year's Eve, but of course with the top hat and the Day of the Dead and the skeleton celebration that we showed us in the James Bond. So we're transferring the October of Donnie Darko, the 10th month of the year, to what they call the 10th month, December Deca. And the full moon was at the end of the month, the 29th, the 30th. And Donnie Darko, I believe it was on the 30th when he died. Does Trump get shot on the 29th, die on the 30th? Oh, who knows? But we're also transferring the Day of the Dead to New Year's Eve celebration, a 3-day celebration, because the dead will be alive, which is what the Day of the Dead's about. Remember when the James Bond, the opening, it says the dead, bass drum, are alive, bass drum. Or bass drum, the dead, bass drum, are alive. So he will be dead, but he will really be alive. So we're transferring the Day of the Dead to mean when he dies. It will be the reality. So in other words, you celebrate the Day of the Dead fictitiously for all dead people. But the Day of the Dead of the Antichrist, the beast, will actually be on New Year's Eve. If that makes sense. So the real Day of the Dead, like it's been celebrated symbolically beginning at Halloween to November 2nd, but then it will be in reality. The reality of it will be New Year's. And if the abyss opens up for him to rise out of on the third day, it'll really be the Day of the Dead. The waters will start to rise during the dark winter as the abyss is melted away, but the fallen angels will also be, it will probably open up the world to more demonic fallen angel activity, which could lead to potential UFO alien type delusions. Now, that's not the strong delusion. For God will send them a strong delusion that they will believe a lie is when the Antichrist takes the stage, along with the false prophet and the beast. The world will be deluded and they will want the mark. That is what the strong delusion is about. but it doesn't mean other delusions can't be taking place, because look at all the so-called Christians now with the strong delusion of accepting Donald Trump, or, so, but the strong delusion, there's many antichrists, but there's the antichrist, beast out of the sea. There's the strong delusion. There's the abomination that causes desolation. These are very specific people or moments in the Bible. Very specific. So that is why I started to shift all of my focus over to the cold full moon, because it is at New Year's Eve during a 3-day period. 29th, 30th, 31st is New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve is when you blow the party horns. New Year's Eve would be the real Day of the Dead celebration. New Year's Eve would be when he rises from the abyss. If he rises on the third day and he rises from the abyss, what Bible verses are we using? Well, it's 7-Eleven, which we just got through seeing, where many fish said 7-Eleven is moving to Israel. Somebody really jumped my case about me putting down many fish. We'll get to their comments in a second. If we go to many fish,
Hey, to Israel. Madness.
7-Eleven may be on its way to Israel. Well, yeah. He didn't understand what that meant. He was given a lot of other reasons. And I'm pretty sure I put that in the comments. Did I not? Did I not put his video in the comments? I pet goat till Tuesday, Black Friday, Brother James Key. I didn't put the mini fish one in there. Well, that's kind of a bummer. I can do that really quick. I meant to. Let's put it in there. Mini fish. So that'll be in the other one. Okay. Save it. All right. So it's in there for you. All right. If you go to the comments where the guy really lambasted me, I always wonder why Pastor Key blurs, obscures his face. I'm not sure if you are right, but I like him for the most part, along with many fish. You, sir, are also just a man. I want to remind you of the word of Jesus about judgment. And by the same measure, he's taking that out of context. It's not exactly what all that means. The same will be applied to you. My prayers are with all three of you. Well, thank you. Anyone who comes in the name of Jesus is to be, they need to be, okay, Jesus is the truth, Chuck. Okay? If you're not telling the truth, you're not talking about the real Jesus. Does many fish tell you that there is no free will? Does Brother James Key tell you that there's no free will? That God's ordained the end from the beginning, that he knew his sheep at the foundation of the world? If they're not telling you the truth, they're not telling you the real Jesus. They're giving you a false truth, a false Jesus, because Jesus is the truth. So if they're giving you a false truth, they're giving you a false Jesus. You don't have free will. anyone who comes in the name of Jesus, no kingdom divided against itself can stand. You plainly divided against yourself. Just saying. Well, I beg to differ. And I kind of went over the free will analogy with him. So 7-Eleven may be on its way to Israel. What is 7-Eleven? It's 11-7. And the beast that ascendeth out of the bottomless pit. When would he do that? On the Day of the Dead. Well, excuse me, on the third day. Which, if December is truly mimicking all of October of Donnie Darko and iPet Goat, then the real Day of the Dead would begin on December 31st, run through January 2nd. And Donnie Darko's, Donald Trump's death would be on December 30th. Because that's when Donnie Darko's death took place, if I'm not mistaken. So when we go to the opening of Spectre.
Let's go there. Let's make some plans. Let's search and imagine that perfect getaway. Somewhere, anywhere.
Sorry.
Go there.
The dead are alive. So Trump, seemingly dead, but he's alive, which is what the Day of the Dead celebration is at the opening of Spectre. Mexico City, which is where they celebrate it in earnest. And there's Bond or Trump. So that's pretty much what we're looking at. That's why we really like that date. That's why I really like that date. Some of y'all might really like the full moon in Gemini, which is also a penumbral eclipse. It's a penumbral full moon, penumbral eclipse, I mean. Penumbral should be in front of the word eclipse, which Black Friday is 3 days before that, on the 27th. Now, that's coming up in 11 days. Right now, Rudy Giuliani, I meant to open with this, and I sure forgot because some of y'all might have checked out already. Fox News headlines. Did y'all know that Rudy Giuliani laid out Trump's election, all of their case concerning the election fraud? There was a centralized plan to carry out voter fraud around the entire country. Did you know that Rudy Giuliani, who is now presenting the motive for the Trump assassination, the two Trumps going down, was the mayor
Grammarly does more
of New York City when the two Twin Towers went down? You know the old expression, you can't make this stuff up. Mayor of New York City when the Twin Towers went down, giving the motive for the two Trumps going down. And I think we got to close with that. What do you think? All right. Love y'all.